Hey everybody, it is Mike Young, lifestyle nutritionist with aPlantBasedDiet.org, and welcome to chapter 25 of the Live to 150 V book. It's entitled Back Care. And this is a super important thing, and I'd say it affects almost everyone out there. And you may not at first think it has a correlation to what's going to happen with your quality of life and quantity of life, but I'd say it definitely does. And it's something that's affected me for basically my entire adult life. I don't know about before that, but it seems like for some people, depending upon the profession and the line of work you get into, this becomes, it could be like a chronic issue and even a debilitating issue. And that's why I want to dedicate an entire chapter to it, because I want to tell you about how that's gone with my life, where it is right now, where it's been in the past, what things I've done to kind of make this not be a negative factor in my life. So let me tell you, first of all, that if you heard my story, just my general health story, you know that I started out in early years, like 20 years old, and I started working like 5 to 7 days whenever I could, because it was outdoor work, and if it was raining, I couldn't get any work done in my landscape business. And at the time, I really needed the money. I mean, I was just working any job that anyone would pay me for, and generally it was residential landscaping outside the DC area, and it ranged from mowing, and I had to buy a lot of expensive equipment for that, to just simply landscape labor, like trimming bushes, some equipment, mulching jobs, a lot less equipment. Mulching jobs was a lot of digging, a lot of shoveling, a lot of moving the mulch, weeding, things like that. It was just pure labor. And what I discovered after a few years was that I had a back problem. Okay, I definitely had an issue with my back, and I couldn't figure out what to do because I was supporting a household. I was supporting 2 other people at the time. My wife was actually even in school. In addition to that, I was having to pay 2 car payments. I had to, pay for all the regular bills, try to figure out how to retire someday. I mean, it was overwhelming. So I realized that, hey, this is my own business. This is back in 1990, 91, 92, 93, that time frame in there. And there was nothing else for me to do if I was having my own business. There was no internet at the time. And, there were only landline phones. Although actually in 92, 93, I did get one of those flip phones, which is really cool. I wish I still had it. I don't have it anymore. And I was having back problems. So I narrowed it down. First of all, I had to figure out, well, why am I having a problem? So one of the things I realized right away was it happened with the landscape jobs. And there was really nothing I could do at that point in time with the landscape jobs, except to know that the more physical labor, the more back bending, the more lifting, the more less machine assisted stuff I was doing, the more I was having issues with my back. And back pain is terrible. If you ever had back pain, say yes, say I've had back pain, say yes in the comments, and write me what that back pain felt like, when it was happening for you, what you did about it. I want to hear your story. So let us know. And for me, it was horrendous. In order for me, when my back started flaring up, and it did on a regular basis, it was more related to the landscape jobs, which I couldn't stop. And I would have to lay down flat. When I got home, I would have to literally lay flat on the floor or flat on the bed and not move, except to go to the bathroom. That was when the healing took place. I realized that. I mean, when I laid flat, it allowed my spine to curve the way it was supposed to, because there was no other pressure making it go some other way from a seat or even a soft bed or something like that that would mess you up. You have to lay it in a flat surface, right? So a firm bed, or just on the floor, or put a board under your bed to make it even firmer if your bed wasn't firm enough. I had to do all these things. And when it was at rest, it would heal. Give it about a day, maybe 2. The worst I think ever was like 3 days. And that was my reminder, don't do that again. Don't screw up your back. Don't lift that thing wrong. Don't get lazy. Make sure you bend at the knees, right? Bend at the knees and lift without bending your back over. You got to bend the knees. I'll come back. Okay, good. And don't screw your back up by bending over forward like this. When you bend over forward like this, you end up, putting your back into your core. So I also around that time started doing some other things, and I'd highly recommend this for anybody, whether you have back issues or not, because here's some things I discovered. Number one, you've got to do core exercises, and the best core exercise you could do is plank. Learn how to do it right. Learn how to get there on your elbows, right, on the floor, and get down low and don't have your butt sticking up in the air. Get that belly flat. You can find diagrams online of how to do this, how to do core. Do it right. Do it often, at least once a week. I know that you'll try to hold the core and you won't be able to hold it for more than 10 seconds if you've never done this before, because your core is weak. What happens when your core is weak? Now, this is assuming you're picking things up right. But even if you're picking things up right, if your core is weak, what you're going to end up doing is you'll find that you will throw your back into it still. Even if you don't bend, even if you're bending your knees, you're still going to throw your back into it. And you don't want to do that. You want your core muscles to be stronger than your back muscles so that your back is isolated and your back doesn't get hurt. So you got to do that. You got to do that for the rest of your life. I do it at least once a week. Try to do it more than that. Especially if my back starts to flare up, because I'm working now, I'm volunteer on some of the farms. So I'm kind of getting back into landscape work. But let me tell you what happened with my landscape work. Over time, I realized that that was one of the crucial areas, was the landscape work. So I realized that, look, I'm just a little more fragile. As you've known from watching this V-book, I'm like the canary in the coal mine. It's going to hit me, it's going to hurt me more and quicker than it does anybody else. And same is true with my back. So I'm like, well, I can do the landscaping, or no, the lawn maintenance with the mowers and the machines and all that. I can do all that, no problem. Mostly machines, less human labor. I'm directing the machines is what I'm doing. But and the landscaping stuff, the digging, the pulling, the smoothing, the spreading, a lot of stuff I'm doing now on the farm is like that. I can't really do those jobs. So I phased those out and I got to a point where other companies were doing that work for me. That was awesome. I realized I had to do that. You got to do this in your life too. If you see that you are having back issues, you got to find out the root cause. The root cause is one of the early chapters in this book. This is what was going on. That means you're not going to be able to do this long term. You better start coming up with a plan B and start working towards that as a goal. Has that as a goal. We have a chapter on goals as well. Do that. So I eventually got out of doing that work. Like I said, now I'm getting back into it, but I need to be more mindful. I'm not doing the farm work. I'm volunteering. You know, I want to learn. I want to grow my own plants, and I'm learning, and I can do it slow. I'm only there one day a week in the afternoon for a few hours. That's all I'm doing. And I don't want to do any more than that. I can't do any more than that. I know this. All right. So even if I get my own place, I also have to keep that in mind as well as to how to do that. Now, another key thing, something called OBUS form, OBUSFORME. Look it up on Amazon. Don't get the wide back, get the regular one. It's an insert that goes in every seat that you have. OBUS form. Use my link below, please, to buy. Our nonprofit gets a portion of that. But OBUSFORME, OBUS form, and it's just an insert. It looks like one of these backrest inserts, but it's actually a medical device that's certified by American and Canadian chiropractic associations. Don't use the little Velcro thing that you stick in there either. So don't get the wide back, get the regular back, the original, and pull that thing off. Don't use it. What it does is that your spine is a regular curve from as the way humans are designed. And unfortunately, as I found in my 52 years, and I realized this in my early 20s as well, I heard about this device. Okay, I've tried these back braces or whatever, and seat, things you put in your seat, they never work. But this thing actually worked. I couldn't figure out why. Well, that's why it's a medical device. It basically every seat you've ever had. That's why you should be standing up. And by the way, I'm standing up now. I can do jumping jacks. I'm standing up. Okay, I'm not sitting. Sitting is a new smoking for a number of reasons, with blood flow in the legs. But this is the back chapter, the back. So your back gets screwed up. I'm telling you, in every seat. If you know of a seat that doesn't screw your back up, my guess is it might be a special OBUS form chair or something. I don't know, but let me know in the comments if you want to share with us. Please do that. I would love to learn, and I'd love to see new stuff. But up to this point in time, in 2022, I've never seen a seat that actually optimizes your back health. They are usually health degraders, just like the food out there does to all humans. Except unless you go to Greenfield Organic Cafe or look on our website for the healthy vegan recipes or prepared foods. So OBUS form is the way to go. It's kind of like that, only for your back. It's weird how life has these similarities and these patterns, but there are fixes for it. That's what you need to know. That's what I'm trying to convey to you here. The fix is OBUS form, OBUSFORME, not the wide back. Don't use the Velcro thing in. Stick it on every seat where you spend any time. Because I found that when I had back problems, it never got any better from sitting. I was like, why wouldn't it get better when I'm sitting? Well, it won't if sitting is putting your spine in a less than optimal position. But with obus form, now sitting is therapy for me. All right. It's like kind of like going out in Mother Nature. It's therapy for the built-up world. Well, obus form is the therapy for your back. It puts it at total isolation. It's almost the same benefit as me laying flat on the floor for a day, just sitting in there. Like if I'm driving, I gotta have one in the driver's seat. If I got a desk seat, gotta have one over there at the desk seat, wherever I happen to be for any length of time. I found that as a car passenger, I don't necessarily need that. Although we have them in our passenger seat now too. Denise uses it as well. And I'd say use it even if you don't have back problems as a precaution, because I'm telling you, all the seats are designed wrong. It's only a matter of time till you start to have problems and you can't figure it out. And then you say, oh, we gotta have surgery. And my experience in watching people with back surgery is not good. I've never really seen anybody cured from back surgery. I've never seen surgery go in and say, oh, you're all good now. You don't have to worry about it. You're like you're 20 years old now. It never works out that way. It's just like the health. People's quality of life keeps degrading and degrading the more pharmaceuticals they get on. Those things aren't fixing the problem. This is fixing the problem. Obus form, being mindful about the type of work that you're doing and try to get out of it. Make sure you bend properly. Always pick things up. It's harder for me. I got long legs for a guy and I'm tall. So everything's on the ground is at the same level for everybody. So actually, if you're shorter, it's going to be easier to pick things up right. If you're taller and you have long thigh bone in there, okay, that when you bend down, you really stick out. You stick your butt out, you stick your knees out, you hit stuff. It's harder to do. It really is. And so people who are taller and doing this type of physical labor are probably more prone to actually messing their back up. But hopefully this chapter gives you hope. And if you know of any tips for your back that I haven't mentioned here in this chapter, please let us know. I'd love to learn more. But I want to also tell you that I've told people about this obus form in the past. Like I've had bus drivers, and my son, who is in his 20s, early 20s now, he was in school. When he was in elementary school, she came up to me and said, well, I'm going to have back surgery. I said, here, take this obus form. Just take it. And she took it and she canceled her surgery because I knew how bad those driver seats are in the school buses. I mean, all seats are bad. Those are just some of the worst, but they're all bad on some level. It's kind of like the food. All restaurants are bad pretty much, unless they got our healthy vegan food certification, and almost nobody does, except for Green Fare, because everything meets them. There's different levels, but it's a similar concept. And this all affects your wellness, your well-being, your health, your enjoyment of life, how much fun you have in life. Because we know if you got back pain, you have back problems, I mean, it is so painful. Pain isn't even the word. It just hurts so bad, when you have that back problem, when you have that pain, stinging pain in there. I don't wish that on anybody, but just know there's a fix. You just have to be mindful about this. You really have to do this plank, and it builds up. You get so much better. Instead of spending 10 seconds on a plank, I can spend hundreds of seconds now because I've built up. It doesn't take long to build up. The progress is quick as long as you do it in the beginning. Do it every day. You'll build up, build up, build up. Your core will thank you. Your back will thank you. Everything will be great. And then you just have to maintain from there. Just keep doing it. Don't forget about it. But these things, the job, the plank, the obus form, as long as you're going to get these three things right, and you're going to make sure that you do them all the time, because it's therapy. All the stuff these three things are all therapy for your back and the reduction or elimination of back pain. And notice I didn't mention anything about taking painkillers. Okay. I don't take any painkillers. I'm telling you, and I've worked in the landscape business, like I said, doing this labor 5 to 7 days a week. I know what I'm talking about. I have experience. I've lived this, and it's totally fixable. That's what I'm trying to convey to you. Hopefully you get that from me. And if you don't believe it, try it and come back and comment again here. Share this video. Again, share it on your timelines, share it on your different social media platforms. I want to hear your feedback. If you have a back, so many people have back problems and they really think, that's the going thing with back problems is, oh gosh, I just have a bad back. I can't do these things. That's me. I'm not you. And of course, lose weight, by the way. This is This is a major issue. Just like hip replacements, knee replacements, foot pain, your back also, it is exacerbated by weight. I never had that issue because I'm not overweight, and I really haven't ever been, but that's me. But if you have that weight, that's the fourth one, is weight. You've got to bring that weight down. You got to have a mid-section normal BMI, like around 20, something like that, or lower. 19, 20 would be good. 19, 20, 21, somewhere in there. That'd be great. You have to get it. You have to do that. You can, this is not optional, but do it and you will reap the benefits. That problem will be fixed. You'll have solved the issue and you can move on to something else that maybe is much harder to control or outside of your control. But all the stuff we talk about, of course, is totally inside of your control. I'm not claiming that everyone can fix their back problems, because you may have screwed it up so bad and you may have gone through multiple surgeries that it'll never be fixed. Just like, you know, if someone's knocking on death's door and their body shut down, they're never going to recover. But up to that point, you're going to be able to reverse all this stuff. All right, I would have already been through major surgeries by now, probably have limited me. I won't be able to go out walking and hiking and stuff like that because of my back. And I'm a skinny guy, remember, okay? I'm not overweight. It's not the overweightness that is the ultimate cause of the back pain, although for some people it is. It could be. For me, it's definitely not. And it wasn't even a factor in there. So just keep that in mind. But it is a major problem for some people. So also keep that in mind. And thank you so much for watching. If you got some value, please like the video. And of course, subscribe and hit that bell for notifications so you keep learning about more things you can do to live to 150. And this is quality, not quantity. Remember, quality over quantity, but you're going to get the quantity as long as you focus on the quality. That's it. That's a good slogan. You're going to get the quantity as long as you focus on the quality. I like that. Okay. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.